Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show with your hosts Ken Tizzard and Music for Goats. Brought to you in full color and stereo sound amplification provided by Trainer. Broadcasting into the world from Storyhouse Studios in Campbellford, Ontario, you'll hear the best of old country, folk, Americana, punk rock, and 80s music delivered into your homes every week for free. And don't forget your regular dose of new and original songs from Music for Goats. Never be alone on a Wednesday night again, 8 p.m. Eastern and 9:30 for those of you in Newfoundland. Join the Whiskey Wednesday regulars on Facebook to be a part of the conversation, or watch on YouTube as well. Pour a drink, a cup of tea, or a nice cold long tooth. Roll up your best smoke and sit back and relax. Don't forget to hit the share button to help spread the word. The Whiskey Wednesday Show, every week. Cheers.
Okay, you're on.
Mike, Debbie, Richard, Steve. You're the first four in the door. How you all doing tonight? Ken Tizzard here. It's the Whiskey Wednesday Show on May 21st. May 21st. Good Lord, that's a strange date. Strange date, don't you think, Mr. Grant?
It's the switchover from Taurus to Gemini.
Oh, well, that makes it strange.
Yes, it is.
That's
What they call the cusp.
That's why it's so fucked, eh?
That's one reason, yeah.
Yeah. What's another reason? You got a bunch of reasons for or against May 24?
No.
I guess
Just the
May
weather.
21, The good thing is tomorrow there's no bull.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. The bull has left the building. It's really interesting to be a Taurus and realize that. I don't know why. Welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show, ladies and gentlemen. We are Music for Goats. My name is Ken Tizzard. I'm your host for the next 70 minutes or so. Boys are going to join me in some tunes. Playing songs about Newfoundland tonight. Songs about Newfoundland. I'm just looking at the set list up there. It's a good set list. The reason that we're doing songs about Newfoundland is we got Sean Dalton on the show, and Sean is talking about. Thank you, Mr. Grant. Sean is here talking about a movie called Skeet that he's in. Anybody who grew up back home in Newfoundland, you know what the term Skeet's all about. For those of you who don't know, watch the movie. It's a great movie. It really sort of shows Newfoundland culture as it is these days. And this song kind of touches on that, how, I grew up in St. John's in a different time. And those days are all gone. And it's kind of what this movie is about, readjusting to St. John's culture as it's ever evolving. Skeet has to do with reforming from prison and being a refugee from another country. My sort of relationship with it has to do with a chain link fence that surrounded the harbor so you couldn't skateboard on the dock anymore. Slightly different issues, but same theme, The city harbor lies behind the chain link fence. You can see it from a distance. You can even feel the wind, but you can't walk out on that dock and stand beside the sea-torn freighters. Sense those stories of the lives that live within. You can't have it the way it was, have to take it as it is. Those times have changed, those days are gone. Those days are past but not forgot. You can't stop the winds of change, forever in your mind self-same. Don't be sad. We were blessed for what we had. Those days are gone. The memories cast in stone. And I know I'm not alone. And it chills me to the bone. In this place called home. You can't lose what you don't. Ties you'll ever know, right here at home. Down Water Street, the storefronts changed a few blocks north. Who'd ever blame? To fight against this hurt and change and waiting game. How many words can twist and burn like spark to hay? No further down this hurting old time road we'll stop the winds of change, forever in your mind, self-same. Lord, don't be sad. We were blessed for what we had. Those days are gone, the memories cast in stone, and I know I'm not alone, and it chills me to the bone in this place called home. You can't lose what you don't own. The deepest ties you'll ever know hurt so bad to let you go. And I thought that I just came to say hello to this place called home. The city harbor lies behind the chain link fence. You can see it from a distance. You can even feel the wind. Hey, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are very excited for this evening. I went down. I went down earlier in the week to have a visit with Jason from Deadwood. And Allison, if you'd do me the favor of turning on the close-up cam on me here. There I am. I had the opportunity to go down to meet with the Deadwood Sound guy who's putting the amp together. And he built me the completed box for the cabinet. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough here now. We got the head that you've seen. It's a little 45. Oh no, it's the reverb unit. Sorry, that's on the top. It's got sort of 3 separate little changes that you can make in the reverb, sort of length, darkness, and sparkle. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little 45-watt amp with a reverb on it, just a straight ahead reverb. So I can dial in kind of an effecty reverb with this one, which is cool. And then the head, which is just beautiful. And then recently the cabinet. So we've got the full Deadwood collection right there, and that's what I'm tied into right now, and I'm quite enjoying it. I just got that box yesterday, so it fits in the bookcase so nicely, right underneath Bill Burry's boat that he built for me. Did I ever show you guys this? We got the hippos in the way, and Rick.
The swimming hippo.
See this little boat? These are little people on the boat too, eh? See them? This is all built by hand. It's called the Tizzard. The boat is. Trying to find must be behind Rick. I only got one hand here. Anyway, sorry, distraction.
Yes.
I'm gonna put this camera back now. Go, there we go. I didn't turn it off, did I? No? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
High technology here at the show tonight. That's all high technology, actually, now that I think about it. Putting the mic stand back where it was. So all the cameras were in the same place, right? What do we got next on the list?
The devil.
The devil. Hello gang, hey Jeannie, how you doing? GT. We got the devil now? Mm-hmm. Okay, well then. Let's talk for a second about this now. I had a thumb pick on my hand a second ago before I did the little demonstration. And then I put it up there. Where I just put my pick now, so that's where my pick is for later when I'm looking for that.
Got it.
The devil. Oh man. I talk about Newfoundland centric. I wrote this the night Phil Din died. It's not about Phil at all. It's about another friend of mine that I saw when I was home visiting. He had a bad turn with some addictions and stuff. Kind of ended up moving away from everything that he knew and loved. My Aunt Judy doesn't like this song. Sorry, Judy. She doesn't like the line, "The devil lives in St. John's, Newfoundland." For the sake of this song, the devil does. But believe me, the devil could be anywhere. It's another tie-in with Skeet, the addiction issues back home to Night I felt the rain, and then I just got wet. I was sorry that you came and then you left. Then I went outside for a smoke and a whiskey and a toke. I felt the rain, and then I just got wet. Today across the road that no man should, I chose to walk away from a place that used to be so goddamn good, and I went out searching on my own, trying to find a home, trying to get along the best I could. And I met a big old man out on that road. His face was flat and round. We shared a heavy load. He was big and rude and surly and mean, and when I told him my story, he replied to me. He said, "What do you mean? What the hell are you running for? What would it be you're running from? What would it be you're running to?" And I stayed with that man and he gave me a room. And I worked a couple of jobs, I pushed some brooms. I'd go out shopping in the stores, I'd never want for more. I was happy, just me in my room. And this went on for a while, and then I got so sad. I started feeling lonely and I started feeling bad. And I reached out late one night and I tried to take my life. And I remembered all the best I'd ever had. And then I woke up in the day and everything was fine. I couldn't wait to tell my story, just let it all unwind. And I looked around to take stock, but there was no one to go for a walk, or have a beer and sit and talk about old times. The devil lives in St. John's, Newfoundland. Some say he's a woman, others say that she's a man. Might be gambling, might be booze, drugs or women or brand new shoes. But the devil lives in St. John's, Newfoundland. In the corners, in the darkness, you can see him walking. In the corners, in the darkness, you can see him walking. In the corners, in the darkness, you can see him walking. In the corners, in the darkness, you can see him walking. In the corners, in the darkness. You can see him walking. There for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's an appropriate song on a night like this. It's an appropriate song, being about addiction in Newfoundland. And you're going to learn all about it right now, ladies and gentlemen. I won't introduce it because I think I introduce him as soon as we start. So, Allison, if you are ready, we are going to go now.
Courts are not the same since you've been gone, Billy. Good to have you back, I says.
It's Billy. Mohammed. How long?
That's 3 years of hard time.
What is Skeet about?
I guess a Skeet is like it's like a tough guy.
Yeah?
They just act tough. Skeet's not that tough. I've been called a Skeet. Listen, you're a Skinner. They don't make them like us anymore.
And what do you think of that? Would you do it again?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Today we are sitting here with somebody that I've known for over 20 years, Sean Dalton. Sean's played with the Trews. I think that was where we first met when you guys were still called Trouser, or just as about the time you were changing from Trouser to the Trews. And recently, you kind of pulled out of the music business about 10 years ago in 2015. You left the Trews. You were working with Big Sugar for a while. Is that correct? And then, so now, okay, so you left the Trews, and I mean, according to, Wikipedia, you gave it up for the lifestyle and all that, which I totally understand. And most musicians who've done it, toured, know what that's all about. How is it now, 10 years later, I'm seeing your face on buses and advertisements and all over the internet, and everybody I know back home has got pictures of you and talking about this amazing film that they've been to see called Skeet, which stars you, of course. What's the story there, Sean? How'd that happen?
Well, yeah. So I had my own little business going on in English. I had a drum school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still doing music, but just not touring. And Nick Sexton and he's a good friend of mine from St. John's, Newfoundland. I remember right when I was quitting the band before I started my business, we were getting together and writing stuff. Like he came up to me with this idea. He's like, I was thinking about making a movie called Skeet, and this is 10 years ago. And so one night we were kind of drunk on my balcony, and he was like, "Take your shirt off." And I was wearing like a chain and stuff, and I was kind of fit at the time. And he was like, "Can you act like a Skeet?" So just started hamming it up for him, and he's like, "This is perfect." He's like, "Let's do this." So we started getting together at the CBC building and writing together, and I wrote the initial script of it, which, I mean, it was kind of a Adderalled up shit show that we did. That it didn't go too far. And anyway, I kind of had my own little weird journey of drugs and alcohol for 8 years after that. So my problems didn't stop when I came off the road. The prescription drugs kind of started up, and Nick and I kind of had a bit of a falling out. We were going back and forth. How are we going to write this and how are we going to do this? And we shot a bunch of stuff, but we shot a bunch of stuff that was scriptless. It was just like a whole bunch of footage of me driving around St. John's with a baseball bat and beating people up and doing all this kind of stuff. He went his way, I went my way. I had my own struggles and demons. And 8 years later, we'd gotten back in touch, but 8 years later, he reached out again and said, "Hey man, like I got some money, let's make this movie." And I was 220 pounds and fat and hungover. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I look like shit. I feel like shit." So he flew to Antigonish, Nova Scotia, where I was running my school, and stayed at my place for 2 or 3 days, like just trying to convince me to kind of get back on the horse and get my ass into it,
Mm-hmm.
And, this is right around the time I met my wife, and she, we'd be talking every day, and I would just say to her, I was like, "I can't do this. There's no fucking way." I was like, "My brain isn't working." I was like, "I can't." I was like, I could have acted in this 8 to 10 years ago when I was in shape and clear-headed, but I could barely spell my name. That's how mangled I was. So she, between the three of us, we just kept talking about it, and then we flew to Newfoundland and started shooting stuff, and now it's kind of turned into this hit.
It's amazing. I mean, Nick is, Nick is a younger product of, I grew up, knowing Tommy and Mary and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Nick wasn't really part of my scene because of the age difference, but man, he's made such a big impact back home in St. John's. It's great. I'm going to have him on the show later on in the summer just to talk about everything he's done, from his skating through to Deadly and Skeet and everything else he's involved in. He's a bit of a powerhouse right now, which is really cool.
He's unreal.
Yeah.
We would talk, when he was trying to edit this stuff, we were talking 5 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, because he's a laid back kind of guy, but when he gets onto something, boy, does he ever give a shit. You know, he really cares. So, yeah.
So the passion behind this project, like for me, I come from a time, you know, it's even mentioned in the movie, you know, like I come from a time of hash and fists, and now it's all sort of pills, cocaine, and knives.
Yeah.
And I notice it when I go home. You know, going down, you know, when I was growing up, you go down George Street, and there's always you get the gangs coming down from, you know, looking for fights at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you could always sort of stay away from them.
Yeah.
I find now when I go home, like I walk on George Street, you know, after midnight, and within 30 feet, somebody comes up and knocks me. You know, just looking to get me going.
Yeah.
And if I walk from, you know, from Ron Hines down to the Cornerstone, which is now the strip joint, the Cotton Club. Yep. If I do that walk, you know, being a 6'4" kind of tall, big guy, if I do that walk, I get probably approached 5 times for a fight.
Yeah, they want a piece.
Yeah, and it's just it's a very. It used to be that you could do it. You know, if you did get into a fight, you might get a fist. But I mean, now I just ignore everybody because it's so random down there.
And it's like, well, I mean, I'm out here in Vancouver. I mean, you want to. I mean, I called the cops yesterday. Came off the streetcar. Or sorry, came out of the SkyTrain at 9 o'clock at night. There was a little girl sitting next to a garbage can with her eyes. I'm talking 6 years old, with her eyes rolling back in her head, and she was with this older guy that started kicking her and pulling her on the ground. I mean, this is Granville Street. Granville Street is chaos.
Yeah, I know.
Not just Hastings. They take all the roughest people from Hastings area who can't get along with the other drug dealers, and they move them to Granville now. So,
wow.
So, and like you said about St. John's, it's like drugs are a real problem. Mm-hmm. It's so much of it is drugs. I mean, like you said, I used to be drinking a beer and punching the guy in the head, but there was no money involved, and there was no scamming involved, and there was no seediness behind it. It was just like, I'm aggressive. I feel aggressive. I'm going to punch this guy in the head, and then they're drinking a beer afterwards. It really was like that when you and I were there.
Yeah.
And I go back now, like Tammy and I, my wife, we walk downtown, and it's like, I feel safer near Hastings.
Yeah. It's a really unfortunate thing. And I mean, I think it's everywhere. I think it's well, I don't know if it's worldwide. It's definitely sort of North America wide. The pills, this sort of prescription culture that we're living in right now. I'm kind of out of it myself because I'm living in the country with my wife. You know, I smoke weed. I ignore all pills. Like even when I've been through extreme pain, it's just like I'm really careful with the pills. But I know that it's everywhere, and I mean, I even up here in the country, I see it. You know, it's the crack, the cocaine, the fentanyl is a huge thing now, but the pills too. I mean, you know that.
Yep.
So you're saying you went through a bad time with some pills? Was it pills that you were doing there for a while?
Oh, I was a total pillhead. I mean, did you see the movie?
I saw the movie, and I was really interested in that. I was going to ask you, and maybe this will help frame the question. There's that one scene where one of the guys was talking about the first time he took a pill and it took away the pain.
Yeah.
I think it was during The Circle. Talk about it. You know, the first time I took a pill, it took away the pain. It took away everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I've sensed that sort of addictive quality in cocaine and stuff like that, but I can't imagine. I had knee pain a few years ago, and the doctor put me on one of these high painkillers, and I was on it for 5 days, and it was having weird reactions to me. I stopped it, and for 2 weeks, I was shivering and sweating nonstop.
Oh, they're no joke. Like, well, I'm running in that scene in the movie when I'm kind of jacked and fit. I was doing a bunch of boxing and jiu-jitsu and stuff at the time, but I was on speed in that scene.
Yeah. Wow.
So I am a crazy junkie, toothless guy in that scene. It's
wow.
The strange thing about this movie is that when I'm watching it, I can't tell if it's art imitating life anymore, if it's life imitating art. It's just like literally like I'm high there, I'm hung over there. It's like the movie is kind of synonymous with the struggle that I was kind of going through at the same time, which is very bizarre. But yeah, speed was my go-to. Like it was, my doctor gave me Adderall, which, sorry guys, it's meth.
Yeah.
It's giving kids heart attacks. It gave me a bunch. Don't give it to your kids if you can. It's awful. Yeah, I just started taking it, and at first it was like, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
You know, you're 40 years old, you start popping that stuff. Now I was a little 37. Yeah, you start taking that stuff, and it's like, you know, you shine your shoes, you get your homework done, you know, you get this done, you get that. It was unbelievable for, I don't know, a couple of years, and then you start doubling the dose, of course, because it's not working as well. And if something's not working well, you're not going to go. You're going to go, well, just take another one of those, and next thing you know, I'm banging 20 of those a day. You know, like, to which my doctor said, "It's impossible you're alive."
Wow.
It's completely impossible. And he was like, did you do that like on a day, like one day? And I was like, one day? I've been doing this for years.
Oh, fuck.
With Valium. So when I started getting too high, I would take 2 or 3 Valium, and then but then I'd be too mellow and sloppy, and I'd be teaching someone, and I'd be like, well, I can't drool in front of the kid. So I put for them. So I did this for 8 years.
Wow.
Like, always looking for the perfect combination that never came, by the way, you know, and yeah, rehab.
Incredible. And where are you in that journey nowadays?
2 years clean coming up this August.
2 years clean. Congratulations, man. That's amazing.
Switch to coffee.
I'm sure you too. I'm surrounded by addicts and, you know, alcoholics and stuff like that. It comes with the culture.
It really does. So how do you meet the guys? So you're from Newfoundland. Are the other guys? The other guys are Newfies though.
No, they're all from Winnipeg. So I moved to Toronto when I was 18.
Yep.
And when I was 19 or 20, maybe 20, I went to Russia with a band called Growl, and we came back and we were on City TV doing the breakfast TV thing. And Jake Gold, who was the band's manager, saw me that morning, and they were looking for a bass player out of Winnipeg, and they hadn't found one. So Jake asked me if I wanted to fly out and meet the guys, and I said sure, and that was kind of how that started. And we put the record. I joined in December. We finished Writing in the Trees, recorded it, put it out in May, and then, you know, the first tour lasted 22 months and hasn't stopped since.
Oh yeah, amen.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy, but it's nice to have that part of your life. I mean, you know it too. It's sort of, you know, being a founding member of the Shrews. It's cool to have kind of a little bit of a stamp on part of Canadians' musical heritage like that.
100%. Well, that was a great time for bands. And when you guys were were just starting out. I mean, I remember you guys, and it was just like there was a lot of great Canadian bands.
Well, we had record companies in Canada back then. So, you know, you had the Headstones, I, Mother Earth, Moist, The Watchmen, Crash Test Dummies, all these bands.
Great band.
And we had record companies. I mean, we were subsidiaries of the Americans, of course, but at least we had money to exist in Canada. I think that's gone now for the most part.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep. And what I loved about that scene that you just mentioned too is it was so unpretentious.
Yeah.
It was just like they were just, you know, like bar dudes. You know, they were just, you know, like hair and faces that have seen a lot of rooms and empty rooms that turned into bigger rooms. Like they were just, it wasn't precious. It was just like, that's why you guys are all so good.
I think there was something to be said for a band that, you know, kind of gets in the van and goes out and does 200 to 400 shows before they become a band.
Amen.
And then, you know, that's when the band really kicks in. I think nowadays younger bands aren't given that time. You know, it's like you put a band together, you got to come out and your first show has got to be fucking smashing.
That's a good point.
And that's a really hard thing to attain. You know, I think I can't remember which agent it was. I'm pretty sure it was Ralph James who told me that he doesn't even like to go see a new band until their 200th show.
No shit, eh?
Yeah, it's like if you can last that long, then you've got a show together.
Amen to that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's also this kind of I talk to a lot of young people in this city. It's like so many of them want to tour, right?
Yeah.
All want to tour. They want to. You hear about this, and they wish they could go on a tour, and they wish they'd be going on a tour. And it's like, but to tour what though? Like, don't you love? Like, did you write a book that you're touring, or did you make an album that you're in love with, or did you make, you know, like, what are you touring? You just want to tour. Well, that's the after effect of the being in work you're doing. You know, if you're an obsessed writer and it kills you not to write, and you're writing for 10 hours a day, and after a couple of years, like you said, it's like, well, now you got something to tour, you know, or you got, you know, or you're touring a movie, or you're touring, but it's like, love not to sound like the flaky old guy, but it's like, love the art first.
Yeah. Well, there's so many of the kids. I mean, you've probably experienced this too. Like I do a fair bit of talking in schools and adjudicating for sort of young kids at festivals and stuff. It amazes me how many kids say to me, you know, when I ask them what they want to do, their answer is, I want to be famous. And I say, well, do you want to be a famous astronaut? Do you want to be a famous tennis player? Do you want to be a famous musician? They say, no, I just want to be famous.
Right.
So I think for young musicians, they associate touring with fame.
Yep. That's right.
It used to be that you'd associate an album with fame, but now everybody has an album. Everybody makes an album at home on their fucking computers.
Right. And better quality than we could have 20 years ago.
Exactly. But I think the association with touring and fame, it goes hand in hand. Most people don't realize that, I mean, you know, even after 20 or 30 years for some of these bands touring, we're still sitting in a storage room on empty beer bottle boxes for seats. You know, It's not this big luxury thing that everybody thinks it is.
No, you better love the art. You know what I mean? You better quick, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna be the only thing the only steady thing, you know.
Yes. And if you're touring, it might only be 60 or 90 minutes a day, or if you're opening, I mean, it could be 20 or 30 minutes a day. You know, what do you do with that other 21 or 22 hours of the day? You know,
It looks like
we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. I got one of those squiggly things in my eye. You ever get those things? It looks like a jellyfish that's stretched out like a floater.
Yeah, I think they're called floaters.
And it's just kind of in my eye, and it's just kind of like I can't see, like I can see everything except for exactly what I'm looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I look at a word, I have to look at the word like an inch below it to see the word I'm looking at. That being said, I know what song we're playing next. How's Stanley doing there, Neil?
He's doing fine.
That's good. How are you, Stan? You look comfy.
Yeah, comfortable.
Oh man, I really enjoyed that interview with Sean. It's I mean, he's a really super nice guy, and his story is fantastic. We actually chatted for about another hour afterwards, and had sort of a nice sort of candid discussion about the business and, you know, everything else, which was really nice. Being in Vancouver now and sort of talking about sort of, you know, Hastings and sort of, you know, moving away from Newfoundland, again, that's a common Newfoundland centric theme that the great late Ron Hines discussed in his song No Change in Me. It goes like this. Shoot off a cannon down the middle of Bond, attract no attention downtown St. John's. This getting nowhere is getting to me. Wonder where can you go to be all you can be? No regular Joe wants to haul off and go, just to wind up homesick with no one you know. Just a smoke and a beer and the sports on TV, feeling sorry you left, no choice but to leave. There's no change in the weather, no change in me. Don't want to leave, but you can't live for free, and you can't eat the air, you can't drink the sea. No change in the weather, no change in me. You can shoot off a cannon from the top of Long's Hill, and a Gulliver's taxi might be all you would kill. We were promised the sun and the moon and the stars. We
We got weathered old clapboard, salt rusted cars. So let me join in the leaving with all of the rest to Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver West. Lay down on the sidewalk and kick off and die, watching people not looking as they hurry by. There's no change in the weather, no change in me. I don't want to leave, but you can't live for free. And you can't eat the air, you can't drink the sea. No change in the weather, no change in me. No change in me. I don't want to leave, but you can't live for free. Down here you can't live for free. And you can't eat the air, you can't drink the sea. No change in the weather, no change in me.
Very cool. Little No Change in Me, No Change in the Weather. Little Ron Hines. Hey, Stanley, you managed to come right up with us, eh?
Good Lord.
He just loves being up here with us, you know? Good old Stanley. How you doing down there? You're not in the way of anything, are you? You're not in the way of anything. Oh, you checking in on Stanley? There he is. Oh, we've lost him. We've lost him. I think we've got an ad coming up. Am I correct?
We do.
We do.
I have so
Allison's.
many buttons. to
She's got
press.
so many buttons. Okay, and on the count of 3.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Every Wednesday we will be here, rain or shine, richer or poorer. Tip jar is in the link above. Never expected but always appreciated. Never confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your talent. I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by midnight. Always appreciated, never expected. Please feel free to drop us a line regarding anything, including a link to your money. Cheers.
I came here from the city, trying to find some peace of mind, to get myself on track and buy myself some time. This town is growing on me. Here's a song.
Well,
There we go. We're back on.
hey, we're just having a Stanley discussion. I don't think he'll be too much in the way. I mean, I'm not going to hurt him if I step on him, am I?
Well,
I might.
I think you might, yeah.
Yeah, Stan, you
So
might
try
want to
not
move.
to.
You might just want to move. There you go.
Oh, sure, perfect.
There you go. Right in
Oh,
front
I
of
know,
right in front of
perfect.
Pops.
That's right,
Good.
that's right. Great.
I hope everybody's doing well out there in the world. It is getting to be summer. Flowers are out, which is nice. How are your gardens coming over there?
Oh, it's looking beautiful.
Looking beautiful, yeah. How about you?
Oh, just grand.
Yeah. How are the cute? You got some new vegetables going, aren't you? You're growing like pickles and stuff.
Oh, that's exactly right. What else would you grow but pickles? I've actually bought a whole pickle tree.
Did you?
Yeah, I put it right beside the spaghetti tree.
What about an egg tree?
Yeah,
You could have
that's great.
you could have pickled eggs
Oh,
on the one tree.
Yeah.
Pickled eggs all in the same bush.
Exactly. Yes. No beating around.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another Newfoundland-centric tune. We're sticking with it all tonight. I just realized there's a whole bunch of Ron, but that's okay because it's a night to celebrate Newfoundland, its culture, and Sean Dalton and what a great job he's done. Him and Nick Sexton and everybody else involved. Great cast and crew and everybody. It was just spectacular. spectacular, lovely to see. Skeet, it's been held over in Toronto till the 28th, I believe, and I think this week it's finishing its performances in St. John's, but they've been doing some adding here and there, so go visit the website and check it out. It's great. It's a great movie.
Sitting on the stairway, my heart filled up with dread. His hands were clenched, his clothes were drenched. I knew that he was dead, and I turned away a moment. When I looked back, he was gone. And I went and awoke my mother, said, "Mother, something's wrong, something's wrong." Was here but for a moment. Those were the words she spoke. I thought that I was dreaming, but it was an hour ago I woke. And I swear I heard him call my name in a horrid grinding sound. I fear, my dear, he's lost his way. His ship has run aground. It's run aground. Go down and wake your brother and your baby sister too. Say nothing now of what's occurred, but say I've things to do. There's a shortwave radio up the cove for ship to show distress. Go down and make some breakfast, and I'll get up and I'll get dressed. Dawn was fairly breaking as she headed down the path where the waters crashed across the rocks with all its rage and wrath. But her heart had gone to ashes and the ice chewed through her bones, and her footsteps fell like granite as she came back home alone. Stood inside the doorway and she turned towards the stove. She took down the blessed crucifix and she burned it in the stove. And we all stood in the kitchen like travelers in the rain, waiting on some distant platform to board some lonely train. Well, that was 60 years ago. My mother's in the ground. My brother and sister, they moved away and left me the house and the land. And I sell my socks and sweaters to the tourists from away. There's a monthly old age pension, and I keep the wolf at bay, and I count the days. And when the night comes stealing, he drifts in on the mist. He sits quietly there in his rocking chair so he won't disturb my rest. And when I wake with morning light, he's gone to see once more. Go downstairs, light the stove, mop salt water from the floor. I my salt water from the floor. That was My Father's Ghost, ladies and gentlemen.
Did that?
It was a nicely played song there, guys. It was good. A little slower than usual. That was my fault, of course. You know, I take credit for that. Yeah, I should be saying I take credit for that. Sean Dalton, let's get back to the part 2 of this interview. Again, get out and see this movie. It's in theaters now. Seen on a big screen, I imagine, will be great. I watched it with Allison here on her iPad. Awesome experience, just
the
like
black
that.
and white looks great.
Black and
it?
white looks really good. Yeah. And it's a really unique film. We should we'll check it out.
I once heard this quote like, "Reality is in color, but black and white is more real."
I prefer black and white photographs for sure, especially with portraits.
Well, maybe next week we'll do an all black and white show. What week is next week?
Dale Harris.
We'll do Dale Harrison in black and white. That's what we'll do. We'll let you know about that. Neil's like playing with my anxiety with his headstock and the camera. I get it. I mean, that's totally just all on me. I totally get it. If I was in his place, I'd be doing the same thing. But it's just my own sort of control
I'm
freak
considering
anxiety.
wearing a hard hat. You've come so close to whacking.
Oh no, I'm very aware where you are though.
No, you're not.
Whack-a-neel.
Oh, whack-a-mole. This whack-a-mole. Oh, actually, I can think we can do a meme with that. Actually, we can get a little photoshopping involved there. That'd be great.
Just get a big piece of plywood and stick a few holes in it, and I'll crawl around underneath.
Sean Dalton and Skeet, part 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Skeet, as a movie, I mean, it really does focus on the drug culture in Newfoundland. And I get that. And there's been a big change there. It was shot mostly in Chocolate Place, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So growing up in Newfoundland, I mean, as a kid, when I grew up in Newfoundland in the 70s and the 80s, I mean, you got beaten up regularly. That was a normal part of being a kid. But you stayed away from Chocolate Place, Brophy Place, Buckmaster Circle, all those places. You know, unless, you know, at one point in grade 8, I was dating a girl from Chocolate Place, and I was allowed in Chocolate Place safely to go visit her.
You're one of the
big thing. But, you know, you'd never walk through these little divisions as an outsider, because you would get beaten up. And I got beaten up regularly by these people. But the other really big part of this film is the immigration and the refugees that are coming into Canada, and, you know, in this film specifically Newfoundland, and they are being set up in these sort of lower income areas. And so you've got this kind of very sort of commonly known hostile environment of, you know, skeets or whatever. And then you're taking a new element of society and placing it into it. It seems like chaos to me. How was it filming it? Like, apparently some of the refugees, like in the back of the scenes and stuff, were actually not actors or actresses. They were just people who lived there. So there is a real sort of culture happening down there. How was it doing the film and seeing that sort of firsthand?
Well, this is the interesting thing about, you know, Chocolate Place. I was down with my wife. She was down for all the shootings. She was helping on set. And we couldn't wait to get back. We were up at 5 a.m. every day. We couldn't wait to get coffees and go back to Chocolate Place.
Wow.
That was the highlight. We were staying up in the Battery, which was beautiful and all that stuff. We couldn't fucking wait to jump in a car and zip down to Chocolate Place. And we hung out there all day with everybody because everybody was outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People were playing beanbag games and playing catch, and all the kids were on bikes and street. So it's low income, but I think that also translated as like, it was the only place in St. John's that I saw that had any sense of community. Yeah. Any. There was nowhere else. Everywhere we drove around was like a fucking wasteland.
Yeah.
Where is everybody? And the same thing with my neighborhood here in Vancouver. It's like, where are the children? Like, they were out 100% of the time playing street hockey growing up, and it's like skateboarding and the whole thing. It's if you're playing hockey, if you were a skater dude, you were downtown, as you know. And it's like, I miss you guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of that gone. A lot of that culture is gone. I mean, I blame the phones for that, and phones and the internet. You know, it's a different world.
Yep.
very strange world, actually. I know I'm old. I can't even really get into talking about it. I'm too old to even talk about it at this point.
I'm with you.
But I'll never understand what it's like, to be. So, the question. So, Chocolate Place in particular. Like I said, I remember Chocolate Place because I had a relationship with it. And there was a few families in Chocolate Place that I was friends with as I grew older. Is there still that element of is Chocolate Place still like the dangerous place in town, Chocolate and Brophy Place? Now, are they still like that, or are they more?
They're still, I mean, it's still low income, and I'm sure there's minority groups that are causing all kinds of shit too,
Right.
On both. It's not just poor and impoverished is poor and impoverished. I mean, I don't do color or I don't care about any of that shit. It's just it's poverty and a rough neighborhood. And yeah, I mean, they're still rough. We saw traces of drugs in a lot of the houses that we were going into. Not in Chocolate, but in Stab Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's still rough times for a lot of these people. But again, I had more fun and I felt more, I guess, family oriented or closer to something in those neighborhoods than I do in this neighborhood.
That's amazing.
I don't care about my neighborhood at all. It's peace, it's quiet, it's peaceful, but I have no connection to it. I had a total connection with Chocolate Place. I fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I can see that though. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, everybody's outside, right?
Well, yeah, I had a shaved head and a chain on, and I was like, I'm Billy Skinner now, so I look like the craziest guy there. Little pussy.
Let me just see what else I had here. So, okay, so Trues, Big Sugar, and then you went up to Antigonish and you started a drum school. Was it a music school or a drum school?
It was kind of turned into a music. I mean, it's called the Dollars Drum Academy, which is it's not really an academy. It was more just I like the name of that.
Yeah.
And it started with 60 drummers, but then hip hop artists started coming in and young singers and flautists and all these. And they would just come in. My basement was the studio where everybody recorded. So I saw 4 kids come in, 2 black kids and 2 white kids, and they came down with a dirty sock and stuck it on a microphone and made a hip hop album in front of me, and it was fucking killer. So that was for 8 years of that, and then met my wife, moved out here to Vancouver, and we got this movie done. We were flying back to St. John's to pull the movie off, and then now it's the little movie that could. It's actually going back to Toronto to get this. And yeah, I mean, Cineplex called us and they said, you guys are breaking all the records for an indie movie in our history.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It really is. And watching the movie, I mean, it has elements of indie film to it. It's filmed beautifully. I mean, whoever was behind the camera and adjusting the lighting and everything knew what the fuck they were doing.
That was Nigel Markham. That's Nick's dad.
Okay, yeah, great. I mean, great team all around. Everything from the acting through the story. It's a heavier piece than I thought.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked that after I kind of settled into the pace of the movie. Of course, coming from Nick, I'm like, oh, is this going to be anything like, is there going to be any funny elements of Deadly? I mean, Deadly is essentially the comedic version of the same thing. It's the other side of it, right? And Newfoundland culture has for so long been reflected back to us in satire and humor. Everything from the old biddies through to the politicians, it's all been sort of framed in a humorous way. And to see something coming out that addresses relevant, important, and fairly dark side of the culture was really interesting to see.
I'm with you.
How was it immersing yourself in that? It had to be a bit of a heavy role.
Yeah. I mean, well, again, I was going through my own kind of hell. The guy, even in the old clips of that, when I'm all kind of jacked, and the pre-jail Billy Skinner guy, and then the post-jail guy who was kind of fat and hungover in the movie. That's what I was at the time. I was a pillhead, when I was the crazy guy, doing crazy real life, and then the fat kind of hungover over the hill guy.
Wow.
I was already there. There wasn't a lot going on. It was really just kind of film this shithead as he's going through hell, and we'll color some story around it. But it's the real. I mean, it couldn't have been more real.
That's amazing. That's really, really neat. And it's not like you studied to get into the role and became an addict for it. You sort of, the role was written for you. I mean, yeah, essentially you being the initial writer. I mean, the role was written for you, right?
Yep.
That's fantastic. Okay. You got some, I mean, of course, coming with, I'm seeing all the accolades and awards that you're getting up for. How does that feel as a new actor?
It's great, man. You know, like it's, you know, when I was doing this with Nick, you know, I was looking at him going like, honestly, dude, I can't even tell any, like, it was so unclear that I couldn't tell. Usually you can kind of tell what you're doing, but I was like, I have no fucking idea if this is going well. You know, I can't tell. And he's like, oh, it's great, man. It's great. Let's do it. And we kept doing it. Yeah, I guess other people thought it was real, you know, and, you know, I guess we stuck 14 different names, in a hat to, you know, to get into the Screen Awards stuff that's coming up in a couple weeks. And, yeah, I got picked for, Best Actor.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's
Crazy.
amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
It's a really cool film. I recommend it for everybody, everybody from Newfoundland and abroad as well. I think it's a really important piece in today's culture. I think it's got great entertainment value and also a really good sort of, you know, sort of a wake up little poke in the eye too. You know, it is really interesting to see that.
Yeah, man.
So what's the two more questions? What do you see in your future now that you've done a movie and you're kind of like getting, you know, sort of awards for it and stuff, and the movie's having success? Is this acting something that you might want to move into, or?
Yeah, we're looking at some agents right now. We're having a couple of conversations with a couple of different agents, and there's a couple of other things I won't give them out yet, but looks like there's a couple of things that are pretty promising.
That's,
you know,
great.
Shows I think coming up where they might need a musician type guy, and I was like, well, I can pretend to be a musician.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There was one line in the movie that stuck in my head as a throwback to Ron Hines, and I'm wondering if it was conscious or not. When I'm trying to remember the scene, somebody mentioned, I think it was your mom was talking to you, and she said something about, "Oh, you're all full of promises." The sun, the moon, and the stars.
Yeah.
Was that a direct ripoff from a Ron Hines tune?
I'd have to ask Nick about that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're all huge fans of his, but yeah, that was my ex saying, you know, that's enough with the promises, Mr. Sun, Moon, and Stars.
Sun, Moon, and Stars. That's exactly the line. Yeah, because the Ron line is, we were promised the sun and the moon and the stars. We got weathered old clapboards and salt rusted cars.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Very possible.
Yeah. Okay. That was something I was wondering about. It was a great line. She's an awesome actress too, eh?
She's the queen. Yeah.
What was her name again?
Gina.
Great. Just a great story all around. Everybody was fantastic. Yourself and Jay Abdo was wonderful.
Jay was great.
I loved seeing St. John's. I mean, I love just sort of the alleys and the streets, and like that scene where you're running. Like I remember, I know exactly where you are down by the big salt mountain. It's just great. It's great as a Newfoundlander to look back and see all those things. And some of the aerial shots in Newfoundland were or St. John's were fantastic too. It's a really great capture of Newfoundland culture, man. And I'm so happy to see you doing it. It's just great. That's awesome.
That's great. I'm glad we got a chance to catch up after all these years and actually really meet soberly and meet, you know.
It is funny meeting sober. I'm mostly sober these days too. I don't drink much anymore. I still smoke a bit of weed, but yeah, I don't go out sort of getting off my face like I used to day after day anymore.
Yeah, you slow down a little bit, eh?
Grow out of it, you know, for whatever reason it is.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have had Sean Dalton on the show today. Man, what a great chat. Skeet is out now. So Skeet is doing sort of the local stuff back home. I think it's over in Corner Brook again now, or it's bouncing around to the theaters.
Yes.
And it's coming back to Toronto, you say?
It's going back to Toronto. Yeah, we're trying to get it back out here to Cineplex in Vancouver too. So it won't die. It's kind of growing instead of getting big. Things have calmed down for Nick and I, but the movie seems to be growing. So it looks like there's going to be, there's going to be more action coming up.
And how does that work in the movie business? I know in the record business, you spend a year writing, and then you put the record together and you record it, and then there's 9 months of planning, and then it comes out, and then there's like a year of after stuff. How does that work with the movie now? It's out and now it's being pushed?
Yeah, now and it's just taking on a life of its own. It's not because we're not, I mean, kind of pushing it, we've had some help for sure. but it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
It's really word of mouth. It's like anybody that's from Newfoundland. We sold out a theater in Calgary, and shaking hands. We went to Edmonton. It was a packed house in Edmonton. It's like, people are just talking about it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, there are Newfoundland culture, there are pockets of Newfoundland culture all over the country. So it's good that they can find that, and hopefully it'll be branching out past that too, because it is not a Newfoundland centric theme. I mean, the setting is, but
that's right.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to what's going on down there.
Amen. Yeah, no, it's universal for sure.
For sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check out the movie Skeet. It is roaming around theaters nowadays. There is a website for it too, where you can go check out the trailers and all that. And it's a movie definitely worth seeing, especially if you've got any connection to Newfoundland. Sean, thanks again for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a million, Ken. Great hanging.
Excellent. And look at that, we're back. We're back. I'm standing up. You guys don't have my guitar on? That whole little dance bit was going to be a lot better with music earlier, but I screwed that one up. Sean Dalton, ladies and gentlemen, film that him and Nick Sexton put together. I believe Mary Sexton was probably one of the producers on it, or a co-producer, I think I saw. Great film. Jay Abdo as well, fantastic acting. We're going to end with another Ron song. Dedicate this to Sean. Yes, absolutely. The video rewind tonight was going to be home because it's black and white and it was shot in St. John's, and it's about St. John's. Shot by Jeff Younghusband. But I couldn't find it on my computer, so we're going with Tony was just saying, I wish they played Tony. I hope they, no, he said afterwards I'm going to go smoke a joint and watch Old Perlican. So the video rewind is Old Perlican, actually, upstairs with Steve, one of the old black and whites. Oh, it's just like it was all meant to be. It was just like it was all meant to be.
It is. And the interesting thing is that tomorrow, in fact, would have been Steve's birthday.
That's right. Yeah. And Kim's birthday is this week as well.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Steve, Kim. And I don't need to worry about you with that camera, right?
Nope. Do I need to worry about you with that headstock?
Nope. Sonny lives on a farm in a wide open space. You can kick off your shoes, you can give up the race. You can lay down your head by a sweet riverbed, and Sonny always remembers what it was his mama said. Sonny, don't go away, I am here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor who never comes home, and these nights get so long, and the silence goes on, and I'm feeling so tired, I'm not all that strong. Sonny carries the load, though he's barely a man. There ain't all that to do, but he does what he can. And he watches the seas from a room by the stairs, and the waves keep on rolling. They've done that for years. Sonny, don't go away, I am here all alone, and your daddy's a sailor who never comes home, and these nights get so long, the silence goes on, and I'm feeling so tired, I'm not all that strong. It's 100 miles to town, Sonny's never been there, and he goes to the highway and he stares and he stares, and he watches the seas
the stairs and the waves keep on rolling. They've done that for years. But Sonny's dreams can't be real. They're just stories he's read. Stars in his eyes, they're just dreams in his head. And he's hungry inside for the wide world outside. And I know I'll never hold him. No, I've tried and I've tried. Sonny, don't go away. I am here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor who never comes home. These nights get so long and the silence goes on, and I'm feeling so tired. I'm not all that strong. Sonny, don't go away. I am here all alone. Your daddy's a sailor who never comes home. And these nights get so long, and the silence goes on, and I'm feeling so tired. I'm not all that strong. There we go. Even with like a whole bunch of wrong chords there, it's just like awesome. Great night.
It's like perfect.
It was like perfect. Mr. Grant, how was your week? What's been going on over here? Anything new?
No, not much new, no.
No.
Sad to see the passing of Norm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Cheers,
He
Norm.
was such a well-loved character.
He was, yeah.
We had our own Norm over at the pub.
We did.
Bannon, do you know his first name? Anyway,
Yeah.
everybody called him Norm,
Yeah.
as
That's right.
of Norm from Cheers. And he
Yeah.
would come in the back door, and by the time he got to the corner of the bar, which is like 3 steps, everybody would have said, "Hey, Norm."
Yeah. That's right.
An icon. Plus, he was here in Campbellford at one time.
George went,
Yeah.
Was here doing
Yes,
a
we
Norm
should call
tour
him
of
George
little
Wendt.
pubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, were you there when we played music for that?
Yes, I was.
It was me and
yeah,
you
that
and who
was
else?
Great. Dave
Dave
Fisher.
Fisher.
Yeah.
And we played like All Because of You over and over again.
That's right.
for-
Yeah.
I thought it was This Town of Mine. It was All Because of You. That's what it was with the
That's
harmonica
right.
and
That's
that.
right.
That's right.
But we never got to actually meet him because it was a different time of the day.
Gotcha.
That's right.
But it's there. In
It's all part
it's
of
there edited together.
It's the magic of television. How are you doing, Mr. Lucy?
I'm doing well, thank
How are
you.
your fish acclimating?
The fish are doing quite well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have they acclimated?
They have.
Yeah.
You know, it's either acclimate or die when you're a
That's true.
fish. you
When
know.
you're a fish, I guess so. Allison, how did you do this evening?
I wasn't happy with the camera stuff.
Oh, Allison wasn't
Yeah.
I'm going to be talked to later.
No, yeah.
The programming that I did was not what you wanted.
Improvements on their way.
Improvements on the way, yes. We are streamlining all the
Great
time.
show.
It was a fun
Yeah,
show,
it was
yes,
a
it
great-
was. It
great
was a
show.
fun show. Did you get to do any crazy zooming like you did last week? No, any big crotch shots like last week?
No.
Where the camera got stuck? No.
How disappointing.
Well, then, that's all right. That's all right. I even changed the mood lighting to compensate for it. Check out the video rewind from a while back. It is another Ron Hines tune. And before we get to that, you know, the usual: be cool, stay well, be focused, and be like Steve. Cheers.
Stranded in Nashville, I'm a boy from old Perlican. I went busking down Broadway, made $4 American, and I'm homesick and I'm wishing I was still back home fishing. But all of those times are gone. singing Newfoundland songs. I crossed over the border beneath the light from the stars. I had the luck of the Irish. I had my daddy's guitar. It was a Gibson J45, gonna keep me alive. Comfort me midnight till dawn. How strange to be Tennessee, singing Newfoundland songs. I know it isn't Hank Williams, but I could sing him as well. Jimmy Rogers, Blue Yodel, sing a lefty. Well, I'm a stranger here in Tennessee. I'm a boy from round the bay. Yeah, but I know how to sing, boys. I know how to play. 'Cause my daddy taught me these words, taught me these chords, taught me before he passed on. How strange to be in Tennessee, singing hard times, singing Kid on the Pond. I know if there's one strange consolation in these desperate times, all of these Nashville songwriters are all trying to look like Ron Hines. How strange to be in Tennessee, singing Newfoundland songs. That was pretty. I was contacted by a writer this week. He's writing a book on, I'm not going to say what it's about. There's a writer writing a book. It has to do with a whole lot of things.
Once again, thanks for spending another Wednesday with us here at Storyhouse Studios. Thanks to Trainer, Yorkville, and the Longtooth Beverage Company for being a part of the show. We love our time on the Whiskey Wednesday show and appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to hit up the tip jar if you feel so inclined. Never expected, but always appreciated. Tune in every week for more guests, songs, stories, drinks, and gear talk. And don't forget to visit the website, www.kentizzard.com, to sign up for the Whiskey Wednesday wrap-up. Compiled by Allison, this is a monthly overview with highlights, directories of songs, and so much more. Be kind, be helpful, be happy, be safe. See you next week.
The seal on a Jim Beam canner that